Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Krashy, and today we're going to be diving into a VOD review from the Pokemon Unite Championship Series May Open qualifiers for NA from yesterday. We're going to be watching Foreign Famous versus No Expectations. Now, No Expectations, I think they're kind of like a last-minute team. They got really far into it and are contesting some of the other teams. So let's go ahead and dive into it. We're going to be watching this final game. The series is tied 1-1. I don't like to make super long videos whenever I do stuff like this, so I don't watch usually the whole series. But we're going to go ahead and play this, and we're going to be watching the perspective of SoSadSam. All right, so this is starting off. I'm not going to play any of the audio. They're going to have their comms going, but we got the tri-lane Myth now going to be re-entering the Foreign Famous lineup. So he was one of their old teammates in the past and now has returned. And I like the way they set this up. Look at this. So they're going to shoot the water gun and then get it with the choice specs. I think he's running choice specs water gun. So it's like the double water gun play. I actually don't think they got that, but I did watch them set that play up before. And so they water gun that first Audino backwards, and then they get it with the Slowbro water gun. So really big contesting for farm here. Again, we have Lucario top lane. Nothing's too crazy there. They're going to go ahead and get their backup farm, get the Slowbro to level 4. You see the EXP share going to be on the Hoopa. Hoopa, really crazy character. Hoopa, Lucario are like the tried and true for sure right now in the meta. The ones that are like almost 100% pick rate, it seems like. Almost. Not literally, but almost. Now they're fighting for a little bit of this farm. We got Slowbro on the top. He's got his Surf, so Phil's got his Surf. And we'll see how they set this up. So top lane 1v1 or 2v2 for the 720Bs. You see that? So it's Blastoise jungle, top lane Absol, and then the bottom lane is the Venusaur. So they're playing really interesting to see a Venusaur. I don't feel like we see a ton of Venusaur these days, but Venu Blissey has always been really good. And yeah, so that's a thing, right? Definitely a thing. Got the hyperspace hole coming out from both teams. Still gonna jump back in. The Slowbro jumping back in from the side of Foreign Famous, and we're seeing the right side team, No Expectations, really fighting for the farm. Now the thing is I think with Attacker Blastoise, like what we're calling it, Attacker Blastoise, you don't really bring a muscle band on this character because the goal is to run rapid spin. So the early laning phase I think is a little bit rough. It's a little rough. You don't really have a ton of crazy presence. I'm assuming he's probably running choice specs. I could probably pull up his API. Actually, I'm going to do that. I want to see, because most likely whatever he's played on ladder is what he's played. So let's see as they get some farm. We'll check out Sam's build, because I'm pretty sure he's probably running choice specs, maybe SP attack specs, but I doubt he can stack it. So yeah, so he's going very damage heavy build, choice specs, energy amp, and focus band. So I tend to run Blastoise with a little bit tankier. Instead of the energy amp, you can run it with the buddy barrier. That's an option, but this is attacker role again, so you got to make sure you bring some good damage here. Also, since he's not like a main defender, like he's definitely not the main frontline defender, he doesn't have to worry about being as tanky. So really damage heavy. I like to see that. We see them contesting that 720Bs. The top laners are still going on, like the 720Bs top lane still going on. So we can't quite see the race to level 9 for the junglers, but we'll see how they decide. So hyperspace hole comes down at 704. We have all members down in this bottom lane, and we'll see how they position. So Dave is like 8 and you know, he's almost 9. Dave is almost 9. If they wait too long, if the enemy team waits too long, they'll probably not be able to get it. But they go for the flip. Big flip metas. We got a lot going on here. Look at Sam going in the back line. Really big damage. I think a Blastoise that gets ahead of like an Absol or something going to be really hard for them to deal with. So Sam, nice with the eject button. I think that something to say about Blastoise, you almost always want to have an eject button. It's just so strong to be able to position and make sure that your rapid spin is getting the highest amount of value. And we'll see what they decide to do here. So Sam resets. He's going to come back to bottom lane or go into jungle. They want to feed Sam a lot of the experience here. Gengar, once Gengar's kind of gotten the ball rolling, Gengar doesn't really, I don't want to say Gengar doesn't scale well into endgame, but doesn't need to scale super hyper scaly, right? But with the Blastoise, you do want this character to have a bunch of levels if you can. You might as well get this character as strong as possible. So they're going to feed some levels to Sam. He's going to get the level 9 evolve into Blastoise. Dave getting a kill, the Gengar getting a kill, a couple kills coming out from the side of Foreign Famous. They trade a couple kills, but with Sam rotating up here, there's not going to be a big trade in terms of value. And now we have a Blastoise ult that goes down. They're really just looking to hold this, right? We've been playing a lot of power up punch close combat. You see a big amount of burst from him. When we did our watch party, we saw Fui getting, I think I saw like in one of the games, he got like a big triple kill. Just, you know, power up punch close combat, hitting a lot of people and doing a lot of damage. His build is most likely triple damage focused, so really, really big damage coming out from Lucario. Lucario always holding strong, whether or not it's E-Speed, Bone Rush, Power Up, Punch Close Combat, really, really strong. And now, after a bunch of trading and fighting, Foreign Famous has kind of pushed their lead a little bit further. No Expectations did get a little bit of catch-up farm there just by getting some of those kills, but they're keeping the pressure going, and we have Hoopa Unite. So now they can stay top lane, they can pressure 37-point overdunk. They can get to bottom lane early if they want, so that you're going to see we're going to have them heading down here, or you have them looking for that back cap, because we do have the Hoopa Unite. Look at the map. Hoopa is set for the Unite. They have huge leads, so they know that they're doing really, really well here, and this is looking like a really solid game. So the Hoopa Unite comes out. They want to guarantee this. As they put that pressure down, they're gonna trade, though. They're gonna trade the map. I don't think that they're gonna be able to get back onto the point fast enough to get to top lane, because Hoopa is still in that unbound form. So they're gonna trade out top lane. So it's experience for goals. It looks like, what, 57 points so far? 50. Okay, so 87 points for the turn in. We'll see if they can do anything about that. No rebuttal for that. So an interesting play. I actually think the macro decision making there from No Expectations was really good. They slip in another 13. They're closing the gap through score right now. But the macro, okay, another 16. So a lot of unanswered points here. The decision to go full for Dread was a really strong decision, because it's going to guarantee them experience. But at the same time, that big trade and maybe not keeping one or two people top lane and considering keeping someone on the off lane just to hold, like even if it was just Phil holding the off lane and then porting him in if they needed him, might have been a better decision. So that could be something for Foreign Famous to look at in the future if they have a big lead like that, knowing that a trade might come out. We have some 4-minute ults coming out. We're seeing that, just a little bit of scrappiness, people wanting to drop their ults down if they can. And yeah, Absol dropping ult, same thing, really just dropping the ult, trying to see if they can get some value out of this last little section to use a Unite move. They're most likely going to head up for the top lane. So here's the question: do they do that same kind of macro play, or do they hold the bottom lane? Because they don't really need the Rotom, but also giving the Rotom away for free is kind of pointless. So we'll see what they decide to do. All right, so they're going to send Sam up. Maybe they'll send Myth up on the Hoopa as well, but most likely not. So he's going to hold that off lane and try to keep a trade from happening, like we just talked about. Dave just blows up the Absol instantly. Dave really, really big. I mean, we got level 13s on this side, level 11 for Phil. So Phil's got his Slowbro waves. And now you can see Myth is asking for a little bit of help, but no real pressure, no real issues there. So 50 seconds until the final stretch. They've been doing really, really solid. They have the lead. Like I said, I definitely think there was some mid-game macro that could have been changed up a little bit, but that comes with the risk of flipping the second Dread. But, 80 points versus potentially flipping second Dread, which is just experience-based. You still want to keep that lead, but we'll see what the lead is looking like here in the next 30 seconds. They get third Dread, so 3 Dreads in their wake, 2 Rotoms, I think, and they're positioning properly. We got to see if they tick into their Unite moves. So Slowbro ticked into Unite move. Lucario on Fui, or Fui on Lucario will most likely tick into his Unite move as well. Yep, ticked into his Unite move, and now they're looking for positioning. So holding these top L's, these forward L's, give you a lot of vision on that cross path right there that you can see right past the like Dugong or statue, whatever that Pokemon is. You can see that cross path, so you get a lot of vision. Now we see the Absol flanking around. They're really split, and they're just staying together. So normal lead, so we know it's less than a 100-point lead. We have our Hoopa getting chased down, so Hoopa has to drop the Unite move just to guarantee that value out of that. And they might go ahead and force the flip here, because they've already used the Hoopa Unite, and we see big flips coming out. The Lucario Unite, okay, no secure from the Lucario Unite. He still has it in his pocket, but they did get it with the Gengar. So now they scramble, they go turn in. We're in a big flip meta, so it really comes down to like anticipating. I think that's a tough thing to do, man, anticipating the damage. But look at Sam just shredding 14 to level 11 Absol. The Absol has no chance to stay alive there. I think Absol's a really good pick, but it's really hard to play speedsters in general if you fall behind. So Sam going back to base. I don't know if he'll be able to stop this with them both standing on. Okay, so he can't stop that, but he can probably with the safeguard. I was gonna say he probably won't even be able to get a couple kills, but they can hold here. 1 minute remaining. We'll see the call. Huge lead. All they got to do is hold. They don't have to hold that first tower. Not really, unless they go for like a min-max dunk where they can get like, I don't know, 90 points on it or something. Just depends on where that tower is at. But this should be a closed out game. And with the energy amplifier, look at this. You can see Sam just farming up another Unite move just to guarantee their win. As long as you have like a Blastoise, he's the big damage dealer here. He's got a full damage build. They're sending in bot lane. And with the Absol kill, there's really, this is mostly a dead push, right? The Venusaur's too low. They have vision of everybody here. He's got his Unite move. He can probably just turn it on right here and eject into them just to guarantee that there's just no time, right? Like at this point, there's literally no time. He's going to turn the ult on, eject into him, get the big knock up, and then they're going to clean up. So GG's to Foreign Famous. Like I said, no expectations. They did push this all the way to game 3, or I don't remember where the series fell 1-1. Like I don't know who pushed it to the game 3, but no expectations having a game 3 against Foreign Famous. Like I said, I do believe that they're kind of like a last minute team, so really big shout outs to them. They tie for 17th or 20th or whatever, wherever the bracket falls, so they do pretty well in the overall event. And then this was the qualifying game to get them in the top 12, which is the top 16 for the May final. So Foreign Famous qualifying all the way into that finals, the top 16 teams, and no expectations, just falling a little bit short. But really fun to see this attacker Blastoise. I think that the meta has gotten so bursty that playing something like Blastoise, he just got this crazy indirect buff where he does a ton of damage, is tanky, is hard to take down. He rapid spin is immune to CC, so you don't see a ton of wigglies in the meta because of it. It's really cool stuff. So friends, there you have it. That's Foreign Famous popping off Sam's perspective. Like I said, we're gonna watch it. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. As always, be sure to be kind of one. Tell someone you love them, and I'll see you in the next video.